Terry, this is what we're fighting in the Catholic Church. This is the battle is here.
Yeah.
Homosexual relations and the decisive battle for marriage and family. February 2008, Cardinal Carlo Caffarra, one of the good guys, Archbishop of Bologna, Italy, provided insights into a profound spiritual struggle facing the church after celebrating the Mass at the tomb of St. Padre Pio.
Mm-hmm.
He revealed in an interview with Teleradio Padre Pio that he had written to Sister Lucy, the last surviving seer of Fatima, seeking her prayers for his mission to establish the Pontifical Institute for Marriages for studies on marriage and family. Under JP2, by the way.
Yep.
Surprisingly, Sister Lucy responded with a lengthy letter warning of Cardinal Caffarra the following, quote, "A time will come when the decisive battle between the kingdom of Christ and Satan will be over marriage and family," close quote.
It's come.
This proclamation not only underscores the gravity of the situation, but also foretells the trials that those defending the family would face. And guess what? It's here.
Yep.
The struggle against Christian marriage is not new. It has deep historical roots. It began with the introduction of divorce during the Protestant Revolution, evolved through the enactment of civil marriage during the French Revolution, and gained momentum with the notion of free love during Lenin's early years in power. By the 30s, discussions surrounding birth control and contraception became prominent, and Pius XI, responding through the encyclical Casti Connubii, which defended traditional marriage. However, the real acceleration of this battle can be traced to the sexual revolution of the 60s.
That's right.
Catalyzed by events such as the May 1968 protests in Paris, France. This movement, with its rallying cry of, quote, "It is forbidden to forbid," close quote, not only challenged existing norms surrounding marriage, but also opened doors for the homosexual movement. As many Western nations began to legalize same-sex marriage, the focus shifted to gender ideology, further complicating societal views on sexuality. You want to pick it up there, Terry?
I do. Before I just want to comment what you said. This is really important that once we separated the conjugal act of a husband and wife in marriage and said, oh yeah, birth control, no problem. It became recreational sex. So there's so the homosexuality was fitting right into that model. And that's exactly what's taken place in our culture. Once we got rid of married love between a husband and a wife and said, this is how God has set it up, we started changing that. Now, the article says Ellison Jagger, a prominent American feminist scholar, bluntly stated, and this is what the end of the biological family will also eliminate the need for sexual repression. Male homosexuality, lesbianism, extramarital sexual intercourse will no longer be viewed in the liberal way as an alternative option. Humanity could finally revert to its natural polymorphous perverse sexuality. Jesse, that big paragraph, that paragraph right there, exactly. They're changing the whole purpose that God has made a man and a woman. That's why we've come to the conclusion that we can't even tell the difference between a man and a woman. Now, that's how far off we got from a biblical worldview. Continue, Jess.
Yeah, Terry. That's, again, the 60s, I've always said it was a bad time in America and in the world at large. I mean, just wars, rumor, and again, the whole sexual revolution. That big word that Terry used, polymorphously. Yeah. Polymorphously. It basically means, any type of,
whatever works for you, baby, do it.
Exactly. Whatever works for you. Different. It means different forms, different stages. That's what it means. And again, in the context, it means different forms of sex. Yeah. Okay? That's what it means. The emergence of the gay rights movement, particularly following events like the Stonewall riots in 1969 in New York, marked the pivotal moment in the battle for recognition and acceptance. Early advocates within the movement recognized that the underlying issue is not merely about legal rights, but about altering societal perceptions of morality itself. Paul Varnell, a pro-homosexual journalist, articulated this point, emphasizing that changing the moral judgment surrounding homosexuality
That's right.
was essential for the movement's success.
And he was right.
Yep. Homosexuality, Terry, used to be in the DSM, the Diagnostic Statistical Manual for basically mental disorders.
73, right.
To 73,
Yep.
it was classified as mental illness,
That's right.
but because of lobbying
Pressure.
and politicking and also threats by the homosexual lobby, the psychiatrist that ran the American Psychological Association, they took it off the books because they didn't want to get what's that Supreme Court justice that had Antifa in front of his house yelling at him in Black Lives Matter?
Oh, yeah.
They don't want to get Kavanaugh.
Yeah.
You don't want to get Kavanaugh. Yeah. The emergence of the gay right. But for this maneuver to succeed, homosexuality had to be accepted by various religions, particularly Christianity. That's always been the goal. That's always been the goal. To achieve this, the homosexual movement has, since the 70s, created numerous associations specifically for this purpose. One of the most active today is the Soul Force movement, which 20 years ago described its mission as follows.
Check this out. This is powerful. Sick.
We believe that religion has become the primary source of false and inflammatory misinformation about lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgendered people. Fundamentalist Christians teach that we are sick and sinful. Most conservative and liberal denominations refuse to marry us or ordain us for ministry. The Roman Catholic Church teaches that our orientation is objectively disordered and our acts of intimacy intrinsically evil. We believe these teachings lead to discrimination, suffering, and death. Our goal is to confront and eventually replace these tragic untruths with the truth that we are God's children, too, created, loved, and accepted by God exactly as we are. Completely false.
Sick.
Yeah. This is what we're up against, Terry.
I know.
Educated homosexuals in the public school system that are now trying to implement Marxist ideas. So the first Trojan horse to penetrate the Catholic citadel in an attempt to replace traditional Catholic teaching with the new LGBT formulation was an American Jesuit, Father John McNeil.
Oh, yeah, he was famous.
In his book, The Church and the Homosexual. Father McNeil proposed radical ideas contrary to traditional Catholic teaching, asserting that homosexual orientation could be seen as part of God's design and homosexual partnerships as mediating God's presence in our world today. I guess he's never read Genesis chapter 19.
And just a quick note, Jesse, we've got cardinals in our church who agree with him on that, obviously, by their statements. Continue, please.
Well, we have cardinals in our church who got raided for having sexual orgies.
That's a fact.
Over in the Vatican.
Yep.
So this is what we're up against, Terry. In 1977, the Catholic Theological Society of America, commissioned by Father Anthony Kosnick to edit a collective work asserting that the Bible's sexual ethics must be contextualized.
That's so funny.
Argued against the idea of absolute moral truths. This led to a reevaluation by progressive theologians like Father Martin of how the church approached issues of sexuality, love, and relationships, particularly concerning individuals attracted to the same sex. This evolution of theological discourse in progressive Catholic circles favored the establishment of advocacy groups within the church under the pretext of pastoral support for individuals. That's
exactly what took place.
With same-sex attraction.
Yeah.
The formation of dissenting groups like Dignity in 1971 marked a significant development. Despite initial resistance, such organizations proliferated globally, promoting the idea that homosexual relationships could be valid expressions of love.
And let me jump in, Jesse, because here in Los Angeles, the largest diocese of LA, Cardinal Mahoney in 1985 came out with a new ministry to reach out to homosexuals. And I know my friends who have a tendency to be, to the same sex. They're fighting it. They told me all of these meetings they went to, not one of these outreaches for homosexualities said that you can't, you shouldn't be acting on these feelings of homosexuality. They all said that the church is accepting you just the way you are. So what this guy said in 77, it's been implemented in most dioceses, and they come under the disguise of, we're just ministering to them. But you know what they're not willing to tell them? The truth of the gospel, and that's just really bad. Continue.
The emergence of these advocacy groups and their ideological underpinnings presented a dilemma for the church. While the church's traditional teachings remain clear, the influence of societal changes and internal pressures led to a growing divide.
Yep.
In 1975, the CDF issued a declaration reiterating that homosexual relations are not justifiable within the context of the church's teachings, that sexual relations are intended to occur within the confines of marriage between a man and a woman with the primordial finality of procreation.
Exactly.
It reasserted that Catholic doctrine has always regarded homosexual acts as gravely sinful, a view upheld by the Catechism of the Catholic Church. 2357 says, based on sacred scripture, which presents them as grave depravities, tradition has always declared that homosexual acts are intrinsically disordered, close quote. Moreover, 2358, the same-sex attraction from which they derive is objectively disordered. This was followed by Cardinal Ratzinger's 1986 letter to bishops, which warned against pressures to normalize homosexual behavior within the church. Terry, just want to make a comment.
Please do.
One of the problems is that although we have this solid corpus of Catholic teaching, the fact of the matter is that Pope Francis is very friendly to the LGBT community. And he's very friendly, he's very partisan to prelates who have homosexual proclivities. And that's the danger, Terry.
That is a big danger.
In fact, there's another report from the same organization, TFP.org, where it says that Pope Francis renews his support for the homosexual movement and designates homosexual-friendly cardinals. So although we have this great body of teaching that's based on tradition and scripture, Pope Francis just seems to basically disregard it, Terry.
And what did I say, Jesse? Personnel
is policy.
Exactly, brother. This is where we're going to continue. Hey, a quick note on the pro-life movement. I love this little thing. If abortion is health care, slavery is job creation. Give me a break, Jesse. Stay with us, family. We'll be back with more on the Terry and Jesse Show.